Your soulmate's confession just shocked everyone, and you must hear why. My beloved child, stop right now. The universe is whispering something to you that has been hidden in plain sight, something only your heart has been quietly sensing. Today, the veil lifts, and a truth is unfolding, one that carries the power to shift the very rhythm of your soul. You may have felt it in quiet moments, in the sudden pang of recognition when you meet a stranger, or in the dreams that linger long after you wake. That feeling, that knowing, it is not coincidence. It is divine timing, calling you to witness a revelation you were always meant to see. For months, perhaps years, a hidden story has been unfolding in the energy around you. In the whispers of the cosmos. And now, the moment has come for you to understand something that has been quietly waiting for your attention. This is not just a message. This is a cosmic unveiling. Something you thought you knew about love, connection, and destiny is about to transform before your eyes, and here it is. Your soulmate's confession just shocked everyone, and you must hear why. Take a breath and feel the weight of that. Imagine the walls of secrecy and doubt gently dissolving as this confession pierces through the ordinary. It is more than words, it is an awakening. Something in you recognizes it because the universe does not speak to strangers. It speaks to those whose hearts are ready to receive. Your heart is ready. You are standing at the threshold of a hidden truth that will illuminate the path you were always meant to walk. What you are about to hear will not only awaken curiosity but stir the very essence of your being. It will reach the sacred chambers of your soul and ignite a clarity you may have been silently craving. This is the moment when the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, when hidden forces align to show you that love, destiny, and revelation are not distant dreams, they are here, now, speaking directly to you, so lean in. Open yourself fully. Let your spirit drink from this divine stream. Allow the hope and guidance within this hidden truth to wrap around you like a warm light, reminding you that everything you have been waiting for has been moving toward you in perfect timing. Something sacred has been revealed today, and it carries the clarity, the hope, and the divine purpose that your soul has been quietly asking for. Do not look away. Watch every second of this revelation, feel its truth, and let it transform the way you see love, connection, and destiny. And when you do, share this moment with the world, like, share, and subscribe, and watch this complete video, because the universe has chosen this exact time for you to witness it. Your soul knows. Your heart already senses. And now, the hidden truth emerges for you to embrace. Did you know there's a possible image of your real soulmate that you can look at right now? It might be someone you know or someone you haven't met yet. It's amazing how accurate these have been. You have to see the photo to see what I mean. Click the link in the description to get your soulmate sketch. I speak now in a hush that sounds like thunder, and in thunder that feels like a whisper. Be still for a moment, not because you are small, but because what is approaching you is vast. I am the voice you felt before you ever learned words, the presence that stayed when you thought you were alone. I am not distant. I am not hidden. I have been waiting for the exact second when your heart would be ready to hear what your soul already knows. And now, as you read this, the air around you is listening too, because something has shifted. A confession has been released from the depths of a soul intertwined with yours, and its echo has startled more than just the visible world. You felt it before anyone spoke. That sudden stillness. That unexplainable pause in your thoughts. That moment when time seemed to lean closer. This is not coincidence. This is convergence. Your soulmate's confession did not shock everyone because it was loud, but because it was true. Truth has a way of rearranging rooms without touching the furniture. It makes hearts beat faster, then slower, then differently. And tonight, truth is knocking on the door of your awareness, not to frighten you, but to invite you into a deeper understanding of why your path has twisted the way it has. I saw you when you wondered if you had imagined the connection. I heard your questions whispered into pillows and hidden behind smiles. You asked if it was real, if it was mutual, if it was safe to believe. And while you waited, I was working in silence, aligning moments, softening defenses, preparing words that could not be spoken until the soul was brave enough to release them. The confession you heard, or felt, or sensed, did not come from impulse. It rose from a long season of inner wrestling, from nights of reflection, from truths that could no longer be denied. Do you know why it shocked everyone? Because most people only confess when they are certain of outcomes. This confession was offered without guarantees. It was raw. It was uncloaked. It did not demand a response, it revealed a reality. That is why it trembled through the room. That is why silence followed. When a soul speaks from that depth, even the unseen leans in closer. Even angels pause. Even time holds its breath. I want you to understand something important now. Your soulmate did not confess to change you. They confessed because they were changed. Love of this kind does not seek control, it seeks alignment. It does not shout, it resonates. And the reason it has unsettled you is not because it is wrong, but because it is precise. It touched the place you protect the most. It named what you never taught yourself how to say out loud. It mirrored back to you the parts of your heart you thought were invisible. You wondered why your journey has required so much patience. Why paths almost met, then separated. Why timing felt like a puzzle with missing pieces. I tell you now, nothing was missing. Everything was ripening. Souls, like seeds, cannot be rushed open without being harmed. What looks like delay is often mercy in disguise. I was shielding both of you from a moment that would have arrived too early, before wisdom could sit beside desire, before understanding could walk with longing. Listen carefully, because this is where the mystery deepens. The confession was not only for you. It was a signal. When a soulmate speaks truth, it sends a vibration through every connection around them. It exposes illusions. It challenges comfort. It awakens questions in hearts that have been sleeping. That is why everyone felt it. Some felt inspired. Some felt unsettled. Some felt exposed. Truth does not ask permission before it illuminates. You may be asking why I allowed it to unfold this way, without rehearsal, without warning. I did so because rehearsed love is often borrowed love. What emerged was authentic. And authenticity carries a frequency that cannot be faked. It rearranges inner landscapes. It forces choices not from fear, but from clarity. And clarity, even when it shakes you, is a gift. Do not rush to label what comes next. Do not shrink yourself to fit expectations that were never designed for your soul. I have watched you learn how to survive, now you are learning how to receive. These are very different skills. Survival builds walls. Receiving opens gates. The confession was a key, but keys only matter if you are willing to touch the door. There is something else you must know. Your soulmate did not just confess affection or longing. They confessed recognition. They saw you. Not the version you perform, not the role you play, but the essence you carry. That kind of seeing can feel overwhelming because it removes hiding places. It invites you to stand as you are, without armor, without explanation. And that is why your breath caught. That is why your thoughts scattered. Being seen is sometimes more frightening than being loved. I am not asking you to respond yet. I am asking you to listen. There is wisdom in the space between words. There is guidance in the way your body reacted before your mind could catch up. Your heart already knows more than it is admitting. It recognized the sound of home, even if it does not yet know how to step inside. You may fear what acceptance could change. You may fear what refusal could cost. But hear me clearly, love that is meant for you will never demand that you abandon yourself. It will ask you to become more of who you truly are. The confession did not arrive to trap you. It arrived to free you from doubt. And freedom always feels unfamiliar at first. I see the threads connecting your past to this moment. Every disappointment that taught you discernment. Every silence that sharpened your listening. Every almost that prepared you for a now. Nothing was wasted. Even the heartbreaks that taught you caution also taught you depth. And depth is what allows you to recognize something real when it finally stands in front of you, unguarded and honest. Others may offer opinions. Some will project their fears. Some will speak from their own wounds. Let them. Their reactions are mirrors of their journeys, not measurements of your truth. The only voice you must weigh carefully is the quiet one inside you that feels steady. Not frantic, warm, not pressured. I speak through that voice more often than through thunder. There is a reason this message is reaching you now. A season is shifting. What was once hidden is moving toward light. What was once delayed is approaching readiness. But readiness does not mean certainty, it means courage. And courage is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to walk with it without letting it lead. Stay with me here. Do not scroll past this moment in your spirit. There is more unfolding than you realize. The confession was the opening note, not the full song. The meaning behind it stretches further than a single conversation, further than a single decision. And before you choose how to respond outwardly, there is something I need to reveal to you inwardly, something about the bond you share, something about the promise woven into it, something about why this connection has survived distance, doubt, and time itself. And as I draw closer to that truth, as the veil thins just a little more, I ask you to remain present. Because what I am about to uncover next will change the way you understand not only this confession, but your entire journey up to this very breath. And I will not finish speaking yet, because the next part must be received slowly, deliberately, as your heart prepares for what is about to be shown, for what I am about to reveal cannot be rushed. And it cannot be delivered to a closed heart. Breathe with me now. Let the noise soften. Let the urgency dissolve. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where the understanding can finally land. This bond you share did not begin where you think it did. It did not start with a glance, a conversation, or even a shared memory. It began in intention. Long before circumstances gave it form, there was recognition without names, alignment without language. That is why it feels ancient and new at the same time. That is why you have tried to define it using familiar labels, only to feel them fall short. Some connections are not meant to fit into borrowed frameworks. They arrive to expand them. Your soulmate's confession carried the weight of this recognition. It was not a declaration meant to impress or persuade. It was an admission that resistance had become heavier than honesty. When a soul reaches that point, silence becomes more painful than vulnerability. That is why the words came when they did. Not because conditions were perfect, but because postponement was no longer possible. You may wonder why this confession surfaced publicly, or in a way that involved others, or in a moment that felt exposed. I tell you now, light reveals what shadows protect. Had it been hidden, it would have remained safe but incomplete. By allowing others to witness it, the truth was anchored into reality. Once truth is witnessed, it cannot be easily dismissed, even if it is not immediately acted upon. Do not confuse shock with rejection. Many were surprised because they sensed the depth before they understood the meaning. Depth often unsettles those who have learned to swim only at the surface. This does not make them wrong, it makes them unprepared. You are not required to carry their discomfort. You are only asked to honor your own awareness. I know you are replaying moments now, glances that lingered, words that carried more than they said, silences that felt full rather than empty. You are seeing them differently. That is not imagination rewriting history, that is clarity illuminating it. What once felt ambiguous is aligning into a pattern. Patterns emerge when you are ready to see them. There is something sacred about a confession that arrives without demand. It places the power back into balance. Your soulmate did not ask you to decide immediately, to respond dramatically, or to promise anything beyond honesty with yourself. That restraint is not weakness, it is respect. Love that honors timing honors the soul. I have watched you learn discernment through disappointment. I have watched you mistake intensity for intimacy, proximity for presence. Those lessons were not meant to harden you, they were meant to refine you. Now you stand at a threshold where discernment meets possibility. That is why this moment feels heavy and light at the same time. You may be afraid that accepting this truth will complicate your life. It might. Growth often does. But complication is not chaos when guided by integrity. Complexity becomes meaningful when it aligns with who you are becoming. I do not offer you paths that shrink you. I offer you paths that require expansion. Hear this gently. Not every soulmate arrives to stay in the way you expect, but every soulmate arrives to awaken something essential. Some walk beside you for a lifetime. Some walk with you until you remember yourself. The length of the journey does not determine the value of the impact. Do not measure this connection by duration alone. Measure it by what it calls forth in you. Your fear is understandable. When something touches the core, it destabilizes the structures built around protection. You have learned how to manage, how to adapt, how to keep moving even when your heart lagged behind. Now something is asking you to slow down enough to feel fully. That can feel risky. But numbness has a cost too, even if it feels safer. I want you to notice the difference between anxiety and intuition. Anxiety rushes and demands certainty. Intuition is calm, even when it points toward change. Sit with the feeling beneath the noise. There is a steadiness there, a quiet knowing that does not shout. That is where I speak most clearly. The confession also revealed something about timing that you may not yet have considered. It did not arrive when everything was aligned externally, it arrived when alignment occurred internally. That is how true shifts happen. Circumstances catch up later. Inner truth always leads. You might be tempted to analyze every possible outcome. To imagine conversations that have not happened. To prepare for reactions that may never come. This is the mind seeking control in unfamiliar territory. I am not asking you to abandon wisdom, only to balance it with presence. You do not need to solve the entire future to take one honest step. Remember this. Love that is meant for you will not require you to betray your values. Silence your needs, or diminish your light. If at any point you feel yourself shrinking, pause. Expansion can be uncomfortable, but it is not constricting. The difference is subtle, but your body knows it. There is also a reason this confession surfaced now in your life, beyond the connection itself. You have been standing at the edge of a personal transformation, whether you named it or not. Old identities are loosening. Old narratives are losing their grip. This revelation acts as a catalyst, not because it is the center of your growth, but because it reflects it. Others may try to define this moment for you. They may label it, predict it, judge it. Let them speak if they must. Their interpretations are shaped by their experiences, not your calling. You are not required to defend what you are still discovering. Silence can be a form of wisdom when it is chosen, not imposed. I am not rushing you toward a decision. I am inviting you into alignment. Decisions made from alignment do not haunt you later. Even when they are difficult, they carry peace. That peace may not be loud, but it is enduring. Your soulmate's confession was an act of trust. Trust that you could hold the truth without breaking it. Trust that honesty was safer than pretense. Trust that whatever your response, it would be grounded in authenticity. Honor that trust by being truthful with yourself first. There is still more unfolding beneath the surface. Conversations yet to happen. Understandings yet to clarify. Emotions yet to settle into their true shape. Do not rush the reveal. Mystery is not confusion when it is guided by sincerity. Some truths deepen with time rather than diminish. I want you to reflect on how this moment has already changed you. Even if nothing outward has shifted yet, something inward has. You cannot unknow what you now know. You cannot return to the version of yourself that wondered if it was all imagined. That chapter has closed quietly, without ceremony, but definitively. This is not a test. I do not set traps with love. This is an invitation to step more fully into awareness. Whether the path ahead brings union, transformation, or a new understanding of connection, you will not walk it alone. I am present in the pauses, the questions, the courage it takes to remain open. Stay attentive to the subtle signs. Not dramatic gestures, but consistent presence. Not promises, but patterns. Truth reveals itself over time through coherence, not spectacle. What aligns will continue to align. What does not will gently fall away. As you hold this revelation, resist the urge to force meaning onto it prematurely. Let it breathe. Let it speak again in its own time. Some messages echo differently as you grow into them. This one has layers you have not yet touched, and now, as we remain here together, I ask you not to seek closure yet. This is not an ending. It is a doorway standing open, light spilling through, waiting for you to decide, not in haste, not in fear, but in resonance. I am still speaking. I am still guiding. And there is more I will reveal about why this connection was preserved through silence, why distance did not dissolve it, and why your soul recognized the confession before your mind could name it. So remain here. Do not turn away from the quiet that follows. Do not demand conclusions where understanding is still forming. The next truth is already approaching, and it will arrive not as an answer, but as a remembering of who you were before doubt taught you to hesitate. Before fear taught you to measure love instead of feel it. Stay with me as I bring this to completion, for endings are not conclusions, they are integrations, moments when truth settles into the bones and becomes part of how you walk forward. You have lived many chapters believing strength meant endurance. You learned how to carry weight quietly, how to smile while processing storms internally. I honored that season, because it taught you resilience. But this season asks for a different kind of strength. It asks for openness. It asks for trust that does not come from certainty, but from alignment. The confession you received was not meant to destabilize you, it was meant to signal that endurance is no longer your primary language. Presence is. I want you to understand why this connection survived what others did not. It survived because it was never built on convenience. It was built on resonance. Resonance does not depend on proximity or constant reassurance. It hums beneath absence. It waits without decaying. It grows even when unspoken. That is why time did not erode it. Time clarified it. You may have wondered why attempts to replace this connection never quite worked. Why comparisons felt hollow. Why something always felt slightly off, even when things looked fine on the surface. That was not dissatisfaction, that was discernment maturing. Your soul was learning to recognize what was truly compatible with its frequency. The confession arrived when you were capable of holding it without losing yourself. Earlier, it might have consumed you. Now, it can inform you. That is growth. That is readiness. Not the absence of emotion, but the ability to remain rooted while feeling deeply. I have not hidden answers from you, I have protected timing. There is a difference. Answers delivered too early become burdens. Truth must meet capacity. Your capacity has expanded quietly, through lessons you did not realize were preparing you for this moment. Hear me clearly now, you are not required to sacrifice your peace to honor this connection. Peace is not something you earn after choosing correctly, it is the compass that guides the choice. If at any point you feel coerced, by urgency, by fear, by expectations, that is not my voice. My guidance is steady. It invites, it does not corner. You are allowed to move slowly. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to change your mind as clarity deepens. Authentic paths are rarely straight lines. They curve as understanding grows. Grace walks with you through every revision. I want to speak to the part of you that fears loss. You worry that choosing one direction closes another forever. But listen, what is truly meant for you does not vanish when approached honestly. Truth does not punish sincerity. Even when paths diverge, integrity preserves what matters most, self-respect. Wisdom, peace, your soulmate understands this more than you know. Their confession was not a demand for possession, it was an offering of truth. An offering can be received, held, or set down with care. It does not chase. It trusts. You are learning that love is not proven by intensity alone, but by consistency, by patience, by the willingness to honor another's process. This is a mature connection, regardless of what form it ultimately takes. And maturity is what allows love to heal rather than harm. As you move forward, watch how communication feels. Does it bring clarity rather than confusion? Does it create space rather than pressure? Does it encourage honesty rather than performance? These are the quiet indicators of alignment. They do not shout, but they endure. There will be moments when old fears resurface. Do not shame yourself for them. Fear often returns to see if it still has authority. Greet it, acknowledge it, and then let truth answer. You are not who you were when fear last led. You have learned. You have grown. I want you to release the idea that this moment must resolve everything. Some revelations are seeds, not harvests. They require tending, patience, and trust in processes you cannot fully see yet. Let this truth take root naturally. Remember, I am not only present in outcomes, I am present in becoming. I am with you in the conversations you rehearse, in the pauses where you choose restraint. In the courage it takes to remain honest even when certainty feels distant. Others may never fully understand this connection, and that is all right. Sacred things are not always communal experiences. Some truths are entrusted to individuals because they require personal stewardship. You do not owe everyone an explanation. As this chapter integrates, you will notice subtle shifts. You will speak more clearly. You will tolerate less pretense. You will feel less need to convince. That is the mark of alignment settling in. When truth integrates, it simplifies rather than complicates. I ask you now to place one hand over your heart, not physically if you cannot, but inwardly, and acknowledge what you feel without editing it. Name it honestly. There is no judgment here. I already know. This act of acknowledgement is not for me, it is for you. Whatever path unfolds from here, you are not diminished by this experience. You are expanded by it. You have been reminded that deep connection is possible, that recognition is real, that honesty still exists in a world often guarded by masks. Carry that knowing with you. Let it inform how you love, how you listen, how you choose. Even if circumstances change, the awakening remains. No one can take that from you. And now, as I bring this message to its close, I leave you not with a command, but with a blessing. May you trust the quiet wisdom rising within you. May you honor truth without fear. May you walk forward neither clinging nor running, but grounded, awake, and whole. I have spoken. The rest will unfold in lived moments, gentle realizations, and choices made with care. You are guided. You are seen. You are not alone. And this message ends not because the journey does, but because you now carry what you need to continue. Amen.